Okay, so if you've ever read a business self-help book or maybe watched a video about manifestation.
Or even just, set a serious financial goal for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Chances are you've been drinking from this particular well. We're doing a deep dive today into, well, the definitive philosophy of personal success.
Hmm.
The source code that really birthed almost every positive mental attitude movement that came after it. Think and grow rich.
And this isn't just like some random collection of pop psychology ideas thrown together. The origin story itself it's incredible, really. You've
Yeah.
got Andrew Carnegie, this huge industrial titan spotting potential in a young guy, Napoleon Hill.
Yeah, just a young reporter at the time, wasn't he?
Right. And Carnegie basically challenges him to dedicate, 20 years of his life? Maybe more?
20 years or more to this one massive task.
Yeah, a monumental task.
The book calls Carnegie the canny, lovable old Scotsman. And he didn't just give Hill a job, it was more like a mission, wasn't it?
Absolutely a mission. Spend 2 decades figuring out and writing down a kind of magic formula for success, something that could be shared with the whole world.
And Hill actually did it. He took him up on it.
He did, and the book makes this incredibly bold claim. I mean, really bold. That it's the only how-to guide on personal success you genuinely need. Everything else flows from this.
Okay, that's a big statement. So our goal today is to maybe cut through some of the hype, the decades of commentary, and really pull out the core stuff.
Let's focus on the first 3 big principles: desire, faith, and autosuggestion. And then that crucial element that keeps it all going, persistence.
Right. But before we get into those steps, let's talk about this secret the book mentions all the time. It says there is a secret, but you can't just buy it.
Exactly. It's not for sale, because it apparently comes in 2 parts.
Okay.
Part 1 sounds simple, maybe even obvious at first, but it's profound. All achievement, all earned riches have their beginning in an idea.
Everything starts with a thought.
Everything. That's the first half of the secret.
Okay, that sounds nice, but maybe a little abstract. What's the second part? What makes it work?
The second part is you recognizing that truth, that an idea is the absolute starting point, but recognizing it when you are ready for it.
So the knowledge is out there, but your own mindset has to be tuned in, ready to actually receive it and, more importantly, act on it.
Precisely. You need the idea, yes, but you also need the internal readiness to execute. You have to be prepared to see it through.
Got it. So the system kicks in when you have the idea and that readiness, which brings us to the actual starting point, the fuel needed, burning desire.
And this is, where a lot of people misunderstand or maybe just gloss over it. Desire, as Hill defines it, it's not just a wish. It's not like hoping for good weather.
Right. It's active, not passive.
Totally. It has to be keen, pulsating. The book uses the word definite, a consuming obsession.
So the difference between, say, I'd like to have more money and I must have exactly this amount by this date.
That's it, exactly. And there's a fantastic real-world example of this in the book. Edwin C. Barnes.
Oh, yeah, the guy who wanted to work with Edison.
Wanted to be his business associate, not just get a job. That specificity is key.
And the way he showed up.
Right. Jumps off a freight train in Orange, New Jersey, looking like a tramp, the book says, disheveled.
But thinking like a king.
That's the phrase. His thoughts were apparently aligned with his goal, even if his appearance wasn't. His desire was laser-focused. Become Thomas Edison's partner.
Okay, hang on. He just shows up and demands a partnership? I mean, that sounds less like desire and more like delusion. How did that even work?
Well, according to Hill, it worked because he made retreat impossible. He had a plan, yes, but crucially, he burned all bridges behind him.
No backup plan. No plan.
None. He wasn't there to ask for any job because that wasn't his definite aim. He literally thought himself into that partnership and eventually a fortune because he refused to accept any other outcome. He was obsessed.
That idea of burning the bridges, that seems to be the core of turning a wish into something real. What the book calls the transmutation of desire.
Absolutely. Converting that mental energy into its physical or financial equivalent. And it's not left vague. The book actually gives 6 practical steps for this.
6 steps. Okay, like what?
Step 1, non-negotiable. You have to fix in your mind the exact CT amount of money you desire. Not a lot, but a specific number.
Be definite.
Extremely definite. Step 2, determine exactly what you intend to give in return for that money. What value, what service, what effort.
So No free lunch.
The philosophy is crystal clear on that.
Yeah.
There is no such reality as something for nothing. It's always an exchange. You have to provide value.
Makes sense. So once you have that burning desire fixed,
Yeah.
and you know the exchange, what's next? You mentioned faith and autosuggestion.
Right. So think of desire as the fuel in your car's engine.
Right.
Faith is like the high-octane additive, or maybe the spark plug. It ensures the fuel actually ignites powerfully.
Okay, I like that analogy.
The Source calls faith the eternal elixir, even the head chemist of the mind.
Head chemist, why that?
Because when this deep conviction, this faith, gets blended with your thought, your idea, it instantly reaches the subconscious mind. It connects.
So this is basically the original concept behind visualization or manifestation, isn't it? That an emotional charge, the faith, is what makes the thought real to your deeper mind.
Precisely. It translates the thought into its spiritual equivalent, as the book puts it, getting it ready for action by the subconscious.
And the tool you use to keep that connection strong, to keep feeding it, is autosuggestion.
That's step 3, autosuggestion. Self-suggestion. It's the communication channel, the medium between your conscious thinking mind and your subconscious powerhouse.
So if faith provides the emotional juice, autosuggestion is like the daily reprogramming. You
Yeah.
keep telling yourself the goal.
Exactly. And repetition here is absolutely critical.
Why is that? Why keep repeating it?
Because your subconscious mind is incredibly powerful, but it's also, well, it's indiscriminate. It doesn't judge. It takes any order you give it, provided it's given with absolute faith, and it acts on it.
Any order, positive or negative.
Any dominating order. It doesn't filter based on whether it's good for you or bad for you. It just executes based on the input it receives, especially input charged with emotion.
Wow. So if you don't consciously, voluntarily plant your definite goal, mixed with faith,
Then the subconscious just picks up on whatever else is dominating your thoughts, your fears, your doubts, your worries, negative expectations from others.
it fills the void with the default programming, which is often negative.
Exactly right. So that repetition, repeating your desire, mixed with that emotion of faith, it's essential to make sure the subconscious gets the right orders, clearly and consistently. Then it starts working on making it happen.
Okay, this sounds powerful in theory.
Yeah.
Is there a big example of this working in practice, like combining that definite desire with faith and autosuggestion?
Oh, a huge one. The story of Charles M. Schwab and the creation of U.S. Steel. This is where an idea truly became a billion-dollar reality, quite literally.
Schwab, he was one of Carnegie's guys, right?
Yeah. One of his sharpest associates. And he basically applied this entire formula to the steel industry. He didn't just go to investors with some numbers. He presented a fully formed vision, a definite program, and he delivered it with absolute conviction.
This was the famous speech to J.P. Morgan.
That's the one. December 12th, 1900. Schwab gives this 90-minute speech after dinner to Morgan and other huge financial players.
90 minutes. Must have been compelling.
Apparently incredibly so. He painted such a powerful picture of the future of steel, infused with his own faith in the plan, that it directly led to J.P. Morgan conceiving and then organizing the United States Steel Corporation.
Just from that speech.
Largely, yes.
Yeah.
The idea, backed by Schwab's absolute faith and powerful communication, his autosuggestion becoming suggestion to others, catalyzed the whole thing.
And the value?
The source material estimates that single application of the philosophy, that one speech, was worth something like $12.5 billion in today's money to the people involved.
$12.5 billion. Just from an idea presented with conviction.
It wasn't just the numbers.
Mhm.
See, it was the certainty, the faith behind the numbers that sealed the deal.
That's staggering. An idea, belief, creating one of the world's biggest corporations.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyone who's tried to achieve anything big knows
Mm-hmm.
that between the brilliant idea and the billion-dollar outcome, there's usually a mountain of setbacks. Things go wrong.
Always. And that's exactly why the next principle is so vital. The sustaining force,
Right.
persistence.
Right. Keeping going when it gets tough.
It's listed as the 8th step in the book, actually. And it's defined as the sustained effort needed to induce faith, to keep that fire burning when things inevitably try to put it out.
So it builds faith in a way.
Or at least sustains it. It's described as willpower fused with desire. When you combine those two, they form this irresistible force.
Okay. And the book has a story about the cost of lacking persistence, right? The R.U. Darby gold mine story.
Oh, yeah, that's the classic. Tragic, really. Darby got caught by what the book calls the hidden guide, that force that tests you with discouragement.
What?
He and his uncle were digging for gold. They hit a vein, then it disappeared. They kept digging, hit rock bottom, basically. Lost faith, got discouraged, and just quit.
They gave up.
Sold all their machinery to a junk man for like a few $100. Just walked away.
And the junk man?
But the junk man was curious. He brought in a mining engineer who checked the site and realized
Don't tell me.
Darby had stopped digging just 3 feet from one of the richest gold veins in Colorado.
Oh no, 3 feet.
3 feet from gold. The philosophy uses this to hammer home the point. Defeat often grabs you right when success is almost within reach, just one step away.
Wow. Most failures aren't lack of talent then, but lack of sticking power.
That's what the book argues strongly. Lack of persistence is a major cause of failure.
That must have haunted Darby. But didn't he learn from it?
He absolutely did. He internalized that painful lesson. He later went into life insurance sales.
Okay.
And the memory of quitting 3 feet from gold became his psychological anchor. He made a vow to himself. He would never again stop just because someone said no.
So he applied persistence to sales objections.
Relentlessly. And apparently his greatest success in that field came directly from sticking to that vow. He wouldn't take no for an answer easily.
And he had that other story too, right? The 50-cent lesson.
No.
As a kind of mental image.
Yeah, another powerful anecdote he used. He was apparently sitting in a mill one day with his uncle, who was described as pretty fierce and imposing.
Okay.
And this small child, a little girl, daughter of a sharecropper, marches in. She demands 50 cents her mother needed.
From the fierce uncle. Takes guts.
Right. The uncle apparently yells at her, tells her to go home, threatens her even.
Jeez. Most kids would run away crying.
You'd think so, but this little girl, she stood her ground, she just planted her feet, and finally she just screamed back at him.
What'd you say?
My mama's gotta have that 50 cents. Just raw, desperate demand.
Yeah.
And it broke the uncle's will. He apparently just threw the money at her. Darby watched this whole thing unfold.
Wow. What did he take from that?
He realized that the child's burning desire, her absolute need, backed up by sheer unyielding persistence. It completely overcame the uncle's authority and resistance.
That's a potent image.
He said he used that mental picture in his sales calls. When facing rejection, he'd picture that little girl refusing to back down. It helped him refuse retreat himself.
So the core message is clear. If you find yourself lacking persistence.
The fix isn't necessarily to look for a new goal. It's to build a stronger fire under your existing desires. Make the why more compelling.
Got it. And the book suggests that life, or the hidden guide, tests people.
Yeah, through discouragement, through failure.
Mm.
But it also says that those who keep fighting, who persist despite it all, they receive compensation.
Like finding the gold eventually.
Yes, but also something more valuable, the knowledge that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. You learn something crucial from every setback if you look for it.
Okay, so let's try to synthesize this down. The
Mhm.
core steps we've unpacked are: start with a really definite desire, crystal clear goal.
Mm-hmm. Non-negotiable first step.
Then reinforce it with deep faith using autosuggestion, that repetitive feeding of the goal, charged with emotion into your subconscious.
Right. Constant reinforcement. Reprogramming.
And finally, sustain the whole effort with unwavering persistence, especially when you hit those inevitable obstacles.
That's the engine and the fuel map. And you have to remember, the book stresses that success and failure are largely results of habit.
Habits. Okay, like what kind of habits?
Well, a major failure habit identified is indecision, not being able to make a firm choice and stick to it. It starts young, apparently,
Yeah, I can see that. But how does that relate to failure later on?
because chronic indecision often morphs into something even more destructive. The habit of building alibis, making excuses.
The excuses.
Yeah.
We all do that. Why is it so bad, according to this philosophy?
The book is really tough on this. It says people defend their excuses, their alibis, so fiercely because they are their own brainchild.
You created the excuse, so you protect it.
Exactly. You've invested mental energy in crafting this reason why something wasn't your fault, or why you couldn't do something, and you defend that alibi with the same energy that should be going towards achieving your goal.
Redirecting the energy from excuse-making to goal-getting.
That's the idea. Stop defending why you failed and focus on how you'll succeed next time.
And the ultimate proof, maybe, that this system works regardless of traditional qualifications is Henry Ford.
Ford is held up as Exhibit A. The man had, what, less than a 6th grade formal education?
Something like that, yeah. Very little schooling.
Yet he achieved absolutely stupendous, world-altering success. Why? The book argues it's because he understood and applied these principles, consciously or unconsciously.
He had a definite purpose: mass-produce affordable cars. He had faith. He certainly had persistence.
And he didn't let his lack of formal education become an alibi. He proved that applied knowledge and, crucially, mind control are far more important than diplomas.
So if someone like Ford could do it with limited schooling,
And if you, the listener, have access to all the information and opportunity available today, the question the book forces you to ask is pretty direct.
which is?
What weakness are you hiding behind? What alibi are you defending? If lack of education isn't the real barrier, what is?
Oof, that's pointed. So maybe the final thought to leave everyone with today is this. Take an honest look right now.
Mm-hmm.
What's the single alibi, the reason for inaction or for past failure that you find yourself defending most vigorously, the one you're most attached to?
And then ask yourself, can you take the energy, that burning desire you're using to protect that excuse and redirect it?
Redirect it towards your definite chief aim. And maybe the first step, like Barnes, is to burn that bridge. Burn the alibi.
Burn the alibi. That's a good place to start.